Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Village of Oak Lawn Board of Trustees regular meeting agenda. We are meeting today in the Village Hall Auditorium, 9446 South Raymond Avenue. This is meeting number 2024-11. It is Tuesday, June 11th, 2024, and it is 7:30 p.m. Roll call, please, Madam Clerk. Oh, okay.
Trustee Sock.
Here.
Trustee Pembroke.
Here.
Trustee Olenichak. Trustee Mallow.
Here.
Trustee Stalker.
Here.
Trustee Desmond. And Mayor Vorderer.
Present. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. All rise. Veterans may salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Amen. One of my favorite meetings is starting out with recognizing the accomplishment of a young man from the Village of Oak Lawn, a recent Eagle Scout. I see him in the audience here today. It is Michael Riesling. Michael, step up here, please.
Just up here, or?
Yeah, just right here in front of
Got
the
it.
podium. Mike, the Village of Oak Lawn is always proud of young men like you, okay, who accomplished this great goal. At one time, a long time ago, my son did it, and I can assure you, it benefited him in college and throughout his career. So the Village of Oak Lawn would like to proudly recognize and congratulate Michael Riesling on achieving the rank of Eagle Scout, presented on this day, it's a little bit earlier, because you weren't here last night, May 14th of May, 2024, signed by myself, the village clerk, and our village trustees. Again, congratulations, Mike. Let's take some pictures. Okay, again, congratulations. Thank you very much. Okay, we're going to move on to a NICOR presentation. Are you in the audience here tonight? Okay, please, proceed.
Hello, everybody. It's been a couple months, so glad to see you all.
Welcome
again.
back.
But yeah, my name is Alex. I work for a company called Vector Services. We are partnered with NICOR, and what we call ourselves the post-gas installation contractor. So anytime that there is a gas installation, NICOR wants to verify the integrity of that installation, and we do that by performing sewer inspections. Next slide, please, Vern. So a little bit about ourselves. We are a service-disabled, veteran-owned company nationwide. Anywhere from Seattle as far east as Massachusetts, Florida, down in Texas, and then locally in the north, from here as far east as Cleveland. Next slide, please, Vern. That's our contact info, so that's myself, Alex Goss, Mark Trueblood, who is my boss. He gave the first presentation here, and then Dan Evans, who is our boots on the ground contact, somebody mobile, kind of same day if you need somebody, he's your best contact. Next slide. So what we're doing, so yeah, NICOR was out and they did gas installations. So you'll see our big box trucks pictured there. They're all white box trucks with the big Vector Services logo on the side so that you know what we look like. And what we're doing is performing sewer inspections. So typically that is to inspect the sewer mains and then launch the lateral that connects to the house as well for any gas that would potentially cross that. Again, the reason we're doing that is to find gas cross bores. Next slide there. And that's what a cross bore looks like. So essentially what it is a gas line when they're boring it underground going through a sewer pipe, which can be a danger to the community. So we're out here to find those and fix them. There's the scope of the project. So it's essentially on Colmar from 98th to 96th, South Kilbourne from 98th to 96th, Kenneth Ave from 99th to 97th. And this is for a gas main install dating back to 1965. So back then, they didn't have all of the regulations and procedures they do now, so we're going back to verify that old installation. And then that's just a bigger zoomed up map in case anybody had questions or issues about it and wanted to see it. And I believe that is all I have, if there's any questions or concerns at all.
Do we have any questions from the board?
Yeah, one question. What's the timeline?
So we'd like to get started this upcoming Monday, if that's okay. It is about 280 impacted services. So we do plan to have 2 trucks. It should be about, I'd say, 4 to 6 weeks.
4 to 6 weeks, all on those
Yep.
streets as mentioned.
Yep, and we've had projects in Oak Lawn before where they've actually gone faster than expected because your Public Works does a great job keeping the pipe clean for us, so we can get the camera through faster. So 4 to 6 is kind of a longer time frame, hopefully a little bit sooner for you.
How often do you find a crossboard?
I don't have a percentage for you, but we've been out here for 4 years and found, I think, between 40 and 50. So none in Oak Lawn, and we've had, I believe, 7 projects.
None in Oak Lawn.
None.
Where did you find them? You said out here. South.
Just in the Chicagoland area. Woodstock is one that was recent. Yeah, it's actually been probably about 4 or 5 months since we found one, and we have 4 to 5 crews working a day, inspecting about 50 to 100 homes a day, so.
Well, if you find one, that's a lot.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep.
Listen, let me ask you, you've been here a number of times.
Yeah.
Over the years. What percentage of the village is done with this type of work?
You know, I don't have a firm answer for you. I definitely can.
Corps has been putting lines in for at least
A lot.
5 years.
Yeah, it's been a lot, and I mean, I started crunching the numbers and didn't finish, but we have done over 700 addresses, if that gives you any indication.
Okay.
Yep.
Well, we got a lot more.
Not a
than
lot of,
700.
it's not a lot.
No.
Yeah, that's a small percentage.
Right.
All right, well, we'll be seeing you around.
Probably. Yep. Go.
Thank you for your presentation.
Yeah.
What are the outside borders of that map?
The outside borders.
Oh, it's right behind me.
Main streets?
Yeah, so 99
Canton's down to Cluster.
Kilbourne,
Yep.
okay, got it.
Yep, and then the blue line there, that's the areas we're checking. That's where the gas.
Okay.
installed.
Good enough,
Awesome.
thank you.
Thank you all.
All right, thank you, Alex. All right, public comments. Madam Clerk?
Deborah, you'll be first.
Deborah, are you an Oak Lawn resident?
Yes, I am. I live at
full-
9409 South 52nd Avenue.
That's a good, you didn't have to give me your address, but that's good. And your name, your full name?
Deborah Hochgesang, Hochgesang.
Thank you, Deborah. Go ahead.
Okay, I'm going to make this brief. I have a concern about upcoming July 4th because of what happened last July 4th across the street from my house. As you can see from my address, the reason I gave you my address is you know that I live across the street from the Masonic Temple parking lot. And what happened last July 4th was a number of families came. They had like lawn chairs, coolers, picnic baskets. They all came and they camped out on that parking lot there, and they set off fireworks. And it developed over the course of the evening. It was like at least 6 families that were there from about 6 p.m. until midnight, constantly setting off fireworks. I understand people set off fireworks. I understand that all my neighbors and such, but they all do it on their private property, you know, in their own homes, in their own backyards. Sometimes people will cross the street and set off 1 or 2 rockets, but that's it. These were families that camped out. They had lawn chairs, they had coolers, they had, you know, everything. And I didn't call the police because, number one, if you try to call the police on July 4th and say there's fireworks, they're going to laugh at you and hang up, right? So that, never mind.
That's not true.
Well, okay.
You might have to cue your call.
Right, exactly. But I'm just saying that I also didn't know if maybe they had a permit. You know, I don't want to be the type of person who just immediately, you know, I don't think I need to alert the police if I come here and talk to you, and if we can clarify this ahead of time. What I'm really concerned about is not just the noise, and there was a lot of debris, there was a lot of garbage and everything, but I'm really concerned with people who think that they can just camp out on private property like that, and not have a permit and everything, that this would set a bad precedent for the center part of Oak Lawn, that anybody could just come and just say, hey, we're all going to meet there and we're all going to, and it's not, you know, like I said, it doesn't go through the channels where they actually get a permit from the temple and so on. So that's why I'm bringing that concern to you today, in the hopes that before July 4th, the whole situation can be investigated and perhaps prevented if these people are doing something.
Well, thank you, and I'll certainly make sure the chief of police is aware of that particular piece of property. I should tell you that with the leadership of Trustee Pembroke, we have evaluated this problem of fireworks. One of the big problems for Oak Lawn is while the state and Oak Lawn do not allow them, people can go across the border 8 miles away and buy all the fireworks they want. So it becomes a nightmare for our police department. And of course, in addition to the fireworks call, there's many, many calls for 4th of July. It's a big holiday and a lot of events. But we have increased our penalties for possession and detonation of fireworks. I think the initial fine has gone up from $50 to $100. And if the police should have to respond on a second call to the same property, it is $3,000. Okay, so we're doing the best job we can, but I cannot guarantee there won't be fireworks on the 4th of July.
I've lived here since, in that address, I've actually been in Oak Lawn my whole life, basically. But in 1997, I moved in, so I understand. There have been fireworks on July 4th. I understand that. And I'm not going to call the police every time I hear a fireworks go off. But the congregation of like 6 families.
Of course, it's hard to believe.
Camping out like that, I just wanted, just check it out and see, if maybe there could be some prevention there.
Yes, Tom, would you also notify Masonic Hall of this complaint so that they themselves are aware of the problem?
Yep, will do.
Okay.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you very much, ma'am. All right,
And one second. There's a few more.
okay, I'm sorry.
Nadim Marar.
Hi, how you doing?
Hi, how are you, sir? Are you an Oak Lawn resident?
Yes, for 21 years.
Okay, thank you.
I had a few run-ins with law enforcement agencies across various cities and counties in Illinois, but I have never been treated as poorly as the Oak Lawn Police Department during traffic stops. I've received a ticket for allegedly going 55 and a 35 mile per hour on Cicero Ave, a road where it's my most common knowledge that vehicles frequently exceed 60 mile per hour, even the police. Despite driving at my usual speed on this road, the officer deemed my driving reckless, and I was subsequently taken to jail. Despite having a valid conceal and carry license, the Oak Lawn Police Department treated me as if my firearm was stolen. This incident seems to be the most trivial offense I've ever seen on the Oak Lawn Police Department arrest website, which I'm always on. Despite being completely sober, the officers accused me of swallowing drugs and assumed I was some type of addict. I have never been detained or spoken to in this manner that these officers subjected me to. I provided the village of Oak Lawn, $600, an additional $375 in towing fees. And lastly, out of heart, I just want to say that everybody should be treated the same and not be judged by their color, race, or how they dress, what kind of car they drive. God bless America.
Thank you, sir.
Yes.
Thank you. Do we have anybody else?
Joanne, did you want to speak? Okay, either of you? I know I got pulled away before I was able to take your name. Okay.
Well, this is your only opportunity.
It hasn't been brought up, the situation that we would like to talk about.
Oh, well, actually, this is a meeting of the board conducted in public. There is no discussion with the public when we go into the meat of the agenda. So if you have an issue, this is the time to bring it up so that we're all aware of it.
Okay. I have an issue.
Thank you. All right. And
Hi.
Are you an Oak Lawn resident?
Yes, I am.
Okay, and your name?
Joanne Koutzis.
Welcome, Joanne.
My issue is you guys have purchased a home behind my home to make it a parking lot. But nobody had informed any of us around the area of what you guys are doing. There was a meeting last week for zoning. We did not know about that meeting. We did not find out about that meeting. Somebody put papers in our mailbox on Friday regarding what was going on. But in those papers, there was no indication of a meeting of last Tuesday. So how are the neighbors, how is anybody in the neighborhood supposed to know when you guys are having these meetings?
Tom, you want to address that?
Yeah, so I want to clarify a couple of things. On 2 occasions now, we've distributed flyers. 2 years ago,
Okay,
this is my time to respond.
okay.
2 years ago, in September, we distributed a flyer all the way from Brant to La Crosse. Every home, we got significant feedback from the residents. There was a zoning meeting 2 meetings ago that was not noticed because it was in our opinion, and in retrospect, we should have, it was simply to change the zoning from the house that was purchased and demolished from residential to parking. That was it. What you referenced last Friday was a detailed 3 or 4 pages explanation of what the plans are and the reasons for it and why. So when you say you don't know what the plan is or why, that's what that whole flyer was about.
Sent something, how many years ago?
2 years ago, when we initially proposed this idea.
When, 2 years ago?
2 years ago,
What month?
September.
What did you eat in September 2 years ago? Do you remember?
What did what?
What did you eat for dinner 2 years ago in September
Ma'am,
when you had
ma'am.
that meeting? The thing is, people don't remember.
That's why we did
So,
the follow-up one
The
last Friday.
follow-up, nobody got anything. I didn't get there. I've lived there 25 years.
You just referenced it.
I referenced a paper, but there was nothing in there regarding a meeting.
The paper was in response to the fact that everyone was concerned about the meeting. So we tried to explain in great detail.
What was the reading, when was the meeting? What time was the meeting? Nothing.
Well,
In the paperwork, there was nothing that stated, there's going to be a meeting on Tuesday, this date, at this time.
ma'am, what I'm trying to explain is that meeting, the only purpose of that meeting, none. There was no engineering, there's no designs, and that's what we explained in the flyer. The only purpose of the meeting was to change the parking zoning from residential
So
to
we
parking.
shouldn't know about the zoning. And this meeting, when should we?
2 years
about the-
ago, we explained the plan, and I'm trying to explain, and we did follow up again because of the concerns you're raising. Nothing other than that issue has been resolved. You've not missed any meeting about the plans, the designs, and that's what that 3-page document tried to explain. That's going to be upcoming. You will be notified
How are we going to be notified?
via the flyer, just like we did, like you said you received it. In
I didn't
advance.
receive the one 2 years ago.
Okay.
I
well,
did not receive it.
I can't help that. We got significant feedback from all of the residents in the area. We can't audit who gets it or who doesn't get it. We went from La Crosse all the way to Brant. In fact, people on Brant were saying, why are you giving it to me? It doesn't affect us.
I don't believe that because we talked to our neighbors on Brandt, and that's not what they say.
Okay, well, I don't know what to tell you. We did do that. We used our summer helpers to do it before they went back to college. So that was what our response was last week. We acknowledged that the meeting that was had two meetings ago, even though it was only to change the zoning, that was it. That was the explanation of the thing you're referencing last Friday, or 2 Fridays ago. 3 pages of which was frequently asked questions, concerns, reasons why. So nothing has happened since then, other than that the zoning was changed.
It was, the zoning was changed. And then this meeting for today, what is today's meeting regarding that?
I don't think.
On our agenda is a motion to change the property from residential to parking.
Okay.
Which has been the plan for 2 years. The reason I'm referring to 2 years ago is this is when this whole thing started, when we bought the home to increase the parking. And that, we wrongly thought people weren't going to be surprised that we, after we knocked that home down, we're going to follow through with the decision to make it parking.
We also are in the process of purchasing a couple of other homes back there to alleviate some of the parking issues.
We've
along
tried,
90.
yeah, but we're not successful to this point.
Yeah.
I just feel like we should be more in the loop, and we're not. We really are not. You may think you are, you may think by whoever you're sending these letters that we're in the loop, we're not.
Ma'am, the ordinance, which has been in effect for 50 years, simply requires that within a certain percentage of that property, I think it's only 300 feet, residents get notified by flyer.
Which you are right, but when you're making that a parking lot, but there's a lot of other things that is a concern to everybody else, like the beer bottles all over the place.
Well, that's another issue.
But
Okay.
that is part of it. It is also,
I understand. You bought a home close to a residential area and you're impacted by some of those quality of life issues, which are important. okay? I mean, we all live on a 60-foot lot, some of us closer to business. I live in the shadow of the hospital. I deal with some of those issues too. But we are trying to make our businesses at least successful with some
You should also
parking.
hold them
Now, if
responsible
you-
on some
We
things.
have a property maintenance department here. If those problems are prevalent, I mean, there with bottles and that, I'll ask my property maintenance department to keep a closer eye on it. We can also communicate with the businesses that we have some complaints on that particular issue. But
Which we've also addressed with the parking restrictions. So we are trying to listen, but again, it does require a two-way back and forth. And we acknowledge that the prior meeting, even though it was only innocuous, one little issue, that we could have done the flyer like we did last. or two
You
Fridays
have to see it from our view. You guys are up here and you can make those decisions. We are the smaller people, and this is the only time that we can voice our opinion in many ways. So you can tell us, oh, this has nothing to do with this, it has nothing to do with that. But in our eyes, it's like, okay, we need to speak up. We need to speak up about the bottles. We need to speak about the fights that are going on over there. We need to speak up about the alleys, the way they're driving down the alleys like they think it's Cicero Avenue down.
And this was the reason we're doing that, because of complaints from the residents about the parking, the traffic. The idea was to expand the parking by that home to reduce that kind of congestion, the fact that they're parking on your street. That's why we're doing it.
It's not even, to me, I'll be honest, it's not even the parking. It's more the littering and it's more of the speed.
Well, for many people, it was parking. That's why we did
Of
the
them like
restriction.
not even paying attention that there's kids walking at all.
Well, this redesign hopefully is going to address a lot of
Yeah,
that. So
yeah,
you're going to
we're
have
looking at a
reduced,
long-term solution
yeah.
to that, ma'am. Okay, in the meantime, there's going to be a little bit of inconvenience to the residents, I understand that. We'll try to make it as easy as possible for you. And we will have another residential meeting before we
Yes.
propose what we want to do with that piece of property as far as developing it, more than just a zoning change. So you'll receive a flyer, okay, in the future when we make that move.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
Thank you for coming forward.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, number 8 on the agenda is the approval of the regular meeting minutes
Is there any
2020.
more? Is there any more?
Oh,
Is there any more?
you sign up?
I didn't get her name because we started the roll call, but she
Oh,
was
okay, come
about
on
to
up
sign
then.
up.
Sorry, I'll make it real quick.
Okay, you got 3 minutes.
Okay, I am the lucky one, that lives right next to the parking lot that you're going to be putting in. Okay, as you're addressing the parking issue, there's a lot more than that. Beer bottles are tossed constantly over that. They're going to be now tossed into my backyard. There's people that walk around, I'm going to be very blunt, we found someone actually having sex in the back by our driveway. We have
You
constant
call the police?
calling the police. The village does not work with the police and the businesses. It is a waste of time. We call, and the police come out. They don't want to give tickets. I don't want people to get tickets for parking or doing this stuff. The police come out, they're like, okay, well, you know what, on Monday, you might want to call Paul Mallow, your trustee, talk to him, which I have had no communication with you whatsoever, which really saddens me. I thought you would reach out to us. I've known your family. I thought you would have came and
Ma'am. go-
personally,
We're not
okay.
attacking anybody.
No, I'm not attacking, I'm just
Please.
saying, it would have been nice.
All right. you
But
have-
the whole thing is, there was just on Mother's Day, a robbery right in our alley. You are opening up our area to people that don't live there, that are walking around. I can't put anything in front of my house. They're stealing my flowers. They're stealing it's just, you need to spend some time there. And I know some of you do, but not so much in the Whistle. Walk the neighborhood. Walk the neighborhood and see. It's a beautiful neighborhood. People take care of it. We've got a
Best
great
neighborhood in
block.
Oak Lawn,
Yeah, and
Beverly.
our alley is insane. Insane. My son comes home from work, he's challenged, straight on, right at him. And he's like, I live right there. And they're like, no, you back it up. It's like a constant.
Well, you know, there are proposals you can bring to our traffic committee to deal with your alley. If your residents want it, and you do a petition, we can make it one way, okay? So think about that as an alternative to the complaint you just had. There are alleys, and they don't really have bypass traffic. They are designed for one way. And if there's a lot of
I'm not
traffic,
sure
that's
if
a
that
problem.
would work in ours because everybody uses it. You know, all the roads are getting cut off. So even the residents, we need an out.
Well, okay, well,
Need an out. But the thing back to the 100 feet for the businesses, you are correct. My brother was the one that put the parking lot in behind the Whistle. He owned Midwest Chiropractic. At that time when that was put in, the board promised us it would be just for him. We knew that wouldn't stand. We knew it would be for other businesses. When the Whistle came in, you guys allowed him to build an outside patio all the way to the alley. Do you know the noise that comes from there? I wish you could hear it.
closed, I think.
No, it's wide open now. It's wide open, and it's this thump, 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 all day in our house. We have to put music to drown it out. Is that right?
What is the thump thump? Music?
It's the bass you hear.
And that's something we can address with, that's a fair statement.
Oh, regarding it, I even talked to,
Okay,
I've talked
as you
to-
said, we don't live there. It's helpful when we communicate, and that's why,
communicated. I've communicated to the police.
Okay.
Gary, I have communicated.
okay? Well,
You're-
we'll,
you know,
we'll
they're-
address, we'll address it. I
And
mean,
you-
to come and attack people for not
Oh,
coming
no,
to
I'm not
you.
I didn't mean to. I just expected a little bit more. That was not an.
Why, can I stop for a moment? The whole idea about this was to address the concerns that you're expressing now, to stop that craziness, to create a barrier there, some nice, if you go down to 51st Avenue, the idea was, look what we did for we cut that part off to prevent, so it sounds like,
Okay,
you know,
but do you realize how close, have you been there to see how close that
Ma'am,
this parking lot is
Ma'am,
gonna be to
ma'am,
my house?
We're not gonna get rid of our businesses along 95th Street.
I'm not.
You are impacted,
I'm
ma'am,
asking-
you're impacted,
When
you're
I own my-
impacted, and we're trying to resolve that issue for you
Right.
as best as we can.
Okay, when I owned my business in 1980, I wasn't allowed to take my garbage out before noon on Sundays, so I couldn't disturb the neighbors. That's the way the village was run back then. There was respect with the businesses and that they went out, I picked up my garbage in front of my business. I shoveled my sidewalks.
Ma'am, I appreciate your concerns and time. Business changes, Cozy Shoes that was there, it's a shoe store. Now the modern business today is restaurants and bars and taverns, and we embrace that because we need the sales tax. There are no cozy booteries or
they-
anything like that anymore. Anyway, ma'am,
we will address it
We
for
will
sure.
address
I mean,
it.
for
Thank you for
those who
bringing
are
it.
I don't
suggesting
want-
we won't.
This has gotten out of
This is the
control.
first time that this has come to us. We will address it. You have my word, okay? But understand, again, the whole idea behind this was because of complaints from the neighborhood. Nobody came in and said, when that car went flying down at 90 miles an hour, chased by the police, almost taking people out because they're walking all over the place, and all of you, maybe not you, but your neighbors, the parking, the hassle, the litter, that's what this was all about. I mean, if you've seen the original renderings, there's a barrier there. The one person who was on probably Lacrosse or something said, the one concern that he had was, I don't want it to dead end, because then people are gonna pull in his driveway, your driveway to turn around. He wants the circular one like.
No,
50.
exactly.
So that's the feedback we're looking to get from.
Right, and that's what my neighbors got, and they're happy with that.
Yeah.
They've got the roundabout, so they don't care. They want parking. The parking definitely has to go through. But the openness of that bar back there to a residential area, the garbage
Okay.
being pushed against.
That's not what this
All
is
right, ma'am,
about.
that's
We'll
not-
we'll
okay,
address that.
just-
We'll
listen,
address it.
We're moving forward, and your concerns are legitimate.
I'm gonna be more personal with you. I'll come see you.
Please.
I will. I'd
Be
like to
happy.
sit with you.
Listen, we're trying to work it out, compromise between successful business and residential. You know, unlike other communities like Orland Park, they were able to create commercial zoning far away from their residents. Oak Lawn developed in the 30s and 40s, and we're impacted with business, a hospital back in my backyard, okay? But I embrace Oak Lawn as a wonderful community, great schools and everything. We can work this out the best we can. We can support our business, and we can find solutions for the residents.
Exactly, exactly.
So you can always come and see me,
I will.
okay?
I'll bring you some videos.
Please. No, bring me some donuts.
I can do that.
All right, thank you, ma'am, thank you. Is there any more?
No, that,
Okay, move on to approval of the regular meeting minutes, 2024-10, dated May 28, 2024. Motion, please.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Second.
Roll call.
Trustee Sack.
Yes.
Trustee Pembroke.
Yes.
Trustee Mallow.
Yes.
Trustee Stalker.
Yes.
Motion passes. New business by trustees. We'll start in Trustee Mallow.
Thank you. Mayor, just real quick, just in regards to that parking lot, again, that was the big idea, was to push the residents back a little bit away and have, it's a cluster over there. It's terrible. It's hard to get in, it's hard to get out. There's nowhere to park. You got cars getting towed because they go over to Palermo's and they park over there and they get towed. And it's a difficult situation that the village is trying to make better. And if you think that there's like some hidden thing that we're doing behind, it hasn't happened yet. We're going through the proper process for engineering, for moving our zoning, doing our correct zoning, and we're gonna look forward to this new cool parking lot that's gonna open it up for everybody and help the difference, like you talk of Orland Park and how it's so far off. This is gonna help with that. We've had the issue on 51st when the new Dunkin' came in, and I think they're very happy with that. There's obviously some issues with the dead-end street that we addressed just recently. So it's going to be positive. It takes patience because it just doesn't happen overnight. So I think we're gonna have a nice little parking lot there that's gonna be beneficial for everyone. In regards to litter and noise and things like that, you have to call the police. You just have to. There's not an option. You have to let them know what you saw so that it's on the record. This was called, then the liquor commission gets a hold of whatever happens at that location. If nobody says anything, then nothing happened. So if that does happen, you need to call and let them have a report. On to other news regarding our July 4th parade. July 4th parade is going to be on June 29th with the concert after. We look forward to this along with our evening Sunday concert that will start at 6 o'clock that evening. Speaking of our Sunday concerts, we had the biggest number of attendees at our last one on June 2nd. I think the change from the 7 o'clock start to the 9 o'clock end to the 6 o'clock, 8 o'clock, which we did this last first one, it was tremendous. Just it felt like it was a July 4th weekend, how many people were there setting up. So I'm glad the residents came out to see that band. They thought they were very good. We have a new a jazz band. We always try to get one jazz band in each year, and that one will be on June 23rd. So they're going to be out there again. So it's good to see that the community's coming out for them a little bit more than they were in the past with the time change. Last thing I have, Mayor, is we are going to put an application out on Fall Fest. We have a karaoke band, which is trying to include the community. We're going to have an application that's going to give a karaoke option for that Saturday afternoon band on the gazebo. We'd like to have it be a little bit scheduled, so our staff is going to put together a nice little application. So if people are interested in singing or a little Oak Lawn's Got Talent type of situation, so if you know of a group or whatever, we are going to do something like that. So look forward to that. The application's not quite ready, but it is until September. So we're talking with the band and trying to get the songs listed so that the community could come out and be involved in that. So get as many people out there at 2 o'clock in the afternoon on September 7th. That's the karaoke evening or afternoon that we're going to have on the Fall Fest. So, and that's all I have.
Well, thank you, trustee. I too was at the green on Sunday night. I thought to myself, we're going to need a bigger green if this gets any more successful. It was packed. A lot of people really enjoyed. They spent the whole night there. I didn't see people leaving. So it was a good event. Thanks for organizing that and getting that done, Paul. Thank you. All right, District 4, Trustee Pembroke.
Yeah, Mayor, just two items. One we already touched on, just to remind the residents of Oak Lawn that fines for fireworks have been increased significantly this year. So I know there's been a lot of talk about it, and hopefully everybody's paying attention. The other thing that's come across is I'm hoping the parents will start talking to their children about safety with these motorized scooters that I'm seeing so many around the neighborhoods on. And as a driver in the neighborhoods, I'm just concerned about the really adolescents. What I see a lot of junior high, young high school students on these scooters that are motorized, and I don't think they realize they haven't had any training with the rules of the road. And their parents really need to discuss it with them because it's hard to see them behind some of the bushes and trees and parked cars and that, and all of a sudden they're flying through an intersection. So it's very dangerous, and just parents talk to your children about the proper way to use it. Some of them are really fast. I can't believe how fast they're moving sometimes. So it's just a concern of mine, and I hope, it's a safe summer for everybody. But the other thing is on some of the younger kids are on the sidewalks. Sidewalks get awful crowded between the dog walkers and now the scooters and pushing the babies in the strollers and things like that, so sidewalks in Oak Lawn get a lot of use. So, we just need to be courteous, that's all. That's all I have, Mayor.
Thank you, trustee. District 5?
Yeah, I just want to bring to everybody's attention, and I know you've seen this, Oak Lawn Matters. I was particularly impressed with the quality of the information in this particular Oak Lawn Matters, and I wish you'd take the time to take a look at it and see what's in it. It's available. It should have been delivered to everybody's doorstep, and it's online. But I just want to highlight some of the things that were in there. What should I do if I want to put a tree in my parkway? How do I dispose of large items like couches and appliances? I've been getting sewers in my home in a heavy rain. What should I do? I have a water leak. My recent water bill is too high. I have rodents near my home. What should I do? Where do I get a garage sale permit? Where do I get a new garbage recycling bin? When is the next electronic waste disposal event? I have a neighbor's tree crossing over into my yard. Can I cut the limbs? There's a neighbor next door with, the house is in terrible shape. What should I do? What is a street sweeping schedule? Do I need a permit for a small construction job? And where can I shred some paperwork? That's the kind of thing that's coming out in these issues. And I just want to make sure that you take the time to take a look at them. We get calls on these things every day, and sometimes we have to look them up. But they're all listed in here, and hopefully you'll read it. I thought it was a great publication. Thank you.
Thank you, trustee. District 6, trustee Sack?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Good call on it, but I agree with everything Mr. Trustee Stalker said. What he mentioned is what we get, 70% of our calls are everything that's described in there. The only other thing I had to mention tonight, I'm in District 6, that's St. Catharines District, and we held our carnival this past weekend, Wednesday through Sunday, 5 days. We had a completely free carnival of any trouble whatsoever. Police presence and our Oak Lawn Police Department, how they support our carnivals, they put the paddy wagon right outside the front entrance. So when you're coming up, there's 4 police officers out there watching everybody coming in. You've only got certain entry points you can get into the carnivals in Oak Lawn now. It's not like people can come from everywhere around. We've done this with the cooperation of our police department to create what we've created. We kind of, every year I say it, St. Catharines sets the benchmark for carnivals in the area because a lot of people have canceled them the last several years, and it just goes to show if it's done right, you've got security on premises, we've got volunteer security people working every hour of that carnival, and we've got the Oak Lawn Police presence. So the carnival went off. It was one of their best years in 40 years, I heard, one of their top 2 years. So it can be done. You just work with our police department. All my fellow trustees, they all have, fests in their district, and they get to experience the same thing we do. We're just very lucky to have the police department we do and the community that we do. That concludes my report. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, trustee. I had a conversation with officials from Chicago Ridge today about how well we can do their fest and how they can learn how they can do theirs. They've canceled theirs for the last couple of years, so our police department is doing a good job.
They sure are.
Okay, village managers report.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. following up on Trustee Stalker's comments about Oklahoma Matters, I couldn't agree more. And we do get the most comments about this particular issue, the summer-spring issue, because we do include what we call those frequently asked questions. And, you know, for as long as we've all collectively been involved, there's a recurring theme of multiple calls for the same problem. So I wanted to point out, too, that this is the first year we worked with the assessor's office to correct data problems. And I shared with the board recently, we identified 16,000 individual problems with assessor data. Not so bad that things don't get delivered, because of course they want to get their tax payments, but enough that it causes our software problems. So we spent quite a bit of time, probably 150 hours over the last 6 months, improving that data, which allowed us to mail to 18,900 addresses, where normally we would maybe only do 15,000. So not only was it a great issue, and I agree, but we also got it to more people than we ever have in the past. So again, that's in that issue, you have contact information, you have the frequently asked questions, you have the map of your trustee districts, and we're always open to suggestions too if people want to see something in the Oklahoma Matters. And the other issue I wanted to talk about tonight, last several months, probably even more than that, more than one trustee and the mayor have talked about safety as it relates to driving, speeding in particular, and blowing stop signs, which prior to my speaking, I got another email from somebody with the same problem on Karloff or Kedvale. And everybody seems to think, because it always, you know, when you think about your block, you think it's only happening here. It's unfortunately happening everywhere. And I believe it was Trustee Pembroke recently, one of the trustees suggested, and I talked to the police chief, and we're going to do this. We are going to do a detail, unmarked cars, and we're going to rotate. We're going to work with the trustees in each district who are going to identify problem areas. And this is more a forewarning, because I think the mayor said it perfectly. It's not a bunch of people from outside our community. It's generally, when you see them, they're people from our neighborhood. They're just getting lazy, or you know, they're in a hurry and they're rolling through stop signs and they're speeding down streets. So I just want to get that out there to let people know, so that when you get your ticket, and when you get hit for your $100, $150 ticket, you've been warned. And I think it's going to send a message, because as we've been hearing here, it may seem like a nuisance, but until somebody gets hit, or somebody runs a stop sign and crashes into somebody and hurts or worse, kills someone, we're going to do this starting in the next couple of weeks. So I just want to let the board know. I haven't had a chance to talk to the board about this, but we've been hearing it from every district in the village. It's a recurring problem, and we are going to do something about it. That's all I have this evening.
Thank you. All right, we're moving on to the consent agenda. All items on the consent agenda are routine and brought forward at the direction of the Board of Trustees, village manager, or village committees, and will be enacted with one motion. If discussion is desired, that item will be removed from the consent agenda and considered separately. A, request the Board of Trustees approval of the Appeals Board recommendation 7-0 to approve a second driveway variation at 9419 South 52nd Avenue to replace and expand the existing driveway by 2 feet. And B is ordinance 2411-36, and that ordinance grants that variation of our section 543C of our code. C, request Board of Trustees approval of the Appeals Board recommendation 7-0 for a 25-foot fence variation to construct a 6-foot privacy fence with trellises at 5212 Stony Creek Drive. And D is ordinance 241137, which grants that variation to our section 6-11-3-B-2 of the Oak Lawn Village Code. E, request Board of Trustees approval of the Zoning and Planning Commission's recommendation 6-0 to rezone the property at 9516 South 49th Avenue to alleviate on-street parking in the area. And F is ordinance 24-11-38, an ordinance amending the official zoning map of the Village of Oak Lawn to rezone the property located at 9516 South 9th Avenue from R1 Single Family Resident Zoning District to a PK Parking Zone District. G, Resolution 24-11-44, a resolution approving bid from Razor Demolition for the demolition service at 5210 West 95th Street in the amount not to exceed $103,000. In H's Resolution 24-11-45, a resolution approving bid from Universal Asbestos Removal for asbestos abatement services at 5210 West 95th Street in the amount not to exceed $113,390. And I, Resolution 24-11-46, a resolution amending Resolution 23-21-81 waiving competitive bidding and approving payment of an additional audit premium of $23,549 for workers' compensation coverage. Motion, please.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Second.
Discussion. Hearing none, call for the vote.
Trustee Sack?
Yes.
Trustee Pembroke?
Yes.
Trustee Mallow?
Yes.
Trustee Stalker?
Yes.
Motion passes. Village Clerk's report.
Disbursement Resolution Number 2024-11D dated June 11th, 2024, in the amount of $15,615,473.52.
Motion.
Motion to pay the bills.
Second.
Second.
Roll call.
Trustee Sack?
Yes.
Trustee Pembroke?
Yes.
Trustee Mallow?
Yes.
Trustee Stalker?
Yes.
Anything else, Madam Clerk?
That's all.
Okay, Village President's Report. We've got a couple of items on the agenda here. A, request Board of Trustees approval of the Liquor and Tobacco Advisory Board 6-0 recommendation for change of ownership of a Class D liquor license located at 4501 West 95th Street. That's the 7-Eleven changed hands there at 95th and Kilbourne. B, ordinance 2411-39, an ordinance decreasing the number of Class D convenience store liquor licenses by one and simultaneously authorizing and issuing of a new Class D liquor license by the Village of Oak Lawn due to that change of ownership.
Do we have to take these
Do we
one
have
at
to
a
take
time?
a motion on, can we vote this?
Two together.
Okay, a motion on those two, please.
Motion approved.
Second,
Second.
roll call.
Trustee Sack?
Yes.
Trustee Pembroke?
Yes.
Trustee Mallow?
Yes.
Trustee Stalker?
Yes.
Motion approved. C is request Board of Trustees approval of the Liquor and Tobacco Advisory Board 6-0 recommendations for change of ownership of a Class 1 tobacco retailer license located at 4501 West 95th Street. Motion, please. Okay, and D is ordinance 24-11-40, an ordinance authorizing the issuance of a Class 1 tobacco retail license by the Village of Oak Lawn due to change in ownership. Motion, please.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Trustee Sack?
Yes.
Trustee Pembroke?
Yes.
Trustee Mallow?
Yes.
Trustee Stalker?
Yes.
Motion passes. E, request the Board of Trustees approval of a Liquor and Tobacco Advisory Board 6-0 recommendation for a Class H restaurant liquor no bar license and a Class N outdoor service liquor license to an existing business located at 9940 Southwest Highway. And F is ordinance 24-11-41, an ordinance authorizing the issuance of that new Class H and new Class N liquor license by the Village of Oak Lawn. Motion, please.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Second.
Roll call.
Trustee Sack?
Yes.
Trustee Pembroke?
Yes.
Trustee Trustee Mallow?
Yes.
Trustee Stalker?
Yes.
I understand we have the owners of that business in the audience today. Would you like to say a little something? All right, well, I'll say it for you, okay? Your restaurant has been there for a long time. It's a fine restaurant. I've been there on a number of occasions. It is a Mexican, really food and taco kind of restaurant, an upscale one, and you want to add margaritas to your menu. Am I correct? Yes. Okay, well, think the board has approved it, and I'm wishing you the best of luck with that, okay? I'll be there for a margarita. Make me a good one, okay? Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Yeah, I know.
Trustee Margaritas.
Yeah, yeah. Ordinance 24, oh no, that, we did that one. G, the Board of Trustees approval of the Liquor and Tobacco Advisory Board's recommendation for a Class 2 tobacco retailer license at 9914 Southwest Highway. Skyway Vape and Tobacco petitioner. And this is an existing business, just to change ownership to. And ordinance 241142, an ordinance authorizing the issuance of a Class 2 tobacco retail license by the Village of Oak Lawn due to a change of ownership. Motion, please.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Second.
Roll call.
Trustee Sack?
Yes.
Trustee Pembroke?
Yes.
Trustee Mallow?
Yes.
Trustee Stalker?
Yes.
Motion approved. And I'd just like to thank Bill, Bill, stand up here. I want to give this audience a clap. Bill has taken a hold of this Heroes program, our Veteran Heroes program, and has gotten up about 18 or 19 banners in just a short period of time. They look great on 95th Street. We will separate those with American flags for our parade. But Bill Myers, if it wasn't for you, we wouldn't have got this done. There's a number of people involved in pushing this, okay? They got it done for the Village of Oak Lawn. But you're the guy that took hold of it and did it. So I want to call you out and thank you, sir. Okay. And that's all I have. I'll take a motion for adjournment.
So move.
Okay, got a second? Roll call.
Trustee Sack?
Yes.
Trustee Pembroke?
Yes.
Trustee Mallow?
Yes.
Trustee Stalker?
Yes.
Thank you. Thanks for coming out, everybody.